Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive? Today we're going to tackle a real titan in the AI world.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff Dean.
Absolutely.
We got a request to dig into that AIVIPS.org essay about him.
Great essay.
And
Yeah.
I got to say,
It's a good one.
even just skimming it, I was like, oh, wow.
Right.
This guy's a pretty big deal.
Huge.
So let's, yeah.
He's a senior fellow and chief of AI at Google.
Whoa. Okay, so
Yeah.
not just some random AI guy.
No.
We're talking like the heart of Google here.
Exactly.
Like I'm thinking Google search,
But of course.
Google Translate,
Uh-huh.
stuff we use every single day.
And that's just scratching the surface.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. His fingerprints are all over things like MapReduce, Bigtable.
Okay, those are definitely words.
Uh-huh. Yeah. They're a little jargony.
But I'm guessing not just random tech terms.
Not at all.
They're actually kind of important.
They're fundamental to how we use the internet today.
Right.
Like building blocks.
Color me intrigued. Let's back up a sec, though.
Sure.
Before we get to all that groundbreaking stuff,
Yeah.
what is Jeff Dean like before all the fame? Was he always a tech whiz?
Well, according to the AI VIP's essay, this guy was basically obsessed with math and problem solving from day one.
Okay, so classic
You know,
brainiac kid.
yeah, like destined for greatness or something.
I can relate, though. I loved those brain teaser puzzles as a kid.
Oh, for sure.
But Dean didn't stop at puzzles, did he?
Nope, as a teenager, he was already programming on an Apple II.
Oh, wait. Hold on.
Yeah.
Apple II. Like the really old school ones?
The one and only.
That's pretty impressive for back then.
It really shows you he was ahead of the curve even then.
And obviously this passion just kept growing.
Absolutely.
Because he ends up getting his bachelor's at the University of Minnesota.
That's right.
And then a PhD from the University of Washington. So not just smart, but like academically driven.
For sure, PhD is no joke.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
So what was his PhD about? Anything that hinted at what he'd become known for?
His thesis was on optimizing object-oriented programming languages.
Okay, so less about specific applications and more about like the underlying foundation of programming.
Exactly, making code run smoother and more efficiently.
So even back then, efficiency and streamlining were key.
It's like those schemes run through his whole career.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Now, did he have any mentors during this time? People who kind of shaped his path?
Two names pop up a lot. Craig Chambers, his PhD advisor, and David Tenenhouse, who he worked with at DEC's Western Research Lab.
Okay, so both big names in the field.
Definitely seems like mentorship played a huge role in his development.
Learning from the best and then becoming one of the best himself.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool. And then comes the fateful year.
Oh, yeah.
1999.
Google time.
He joins Google.
Yep.
Which was still a relatively young company back then, right?
Oh, yeah. Google is still finding its footing.
So what was the tech landscape like back then?
Think Wild West, but for the internet.
Whoa, okay.
Everything was exploding. The internet was growing like crazy. And Google was right in the thick of it, trying to wrangle all that information.
Massive amounts of data.
Unprecedented.
And not really any good way to manage it all.
Not at the scale they needed.
Okay.
It was a huge challenge.
Sounds like the perfect problem for a Jeff Dean to solve.
You could say that again.
This is where MapReduce comes in, right?
That's right. This is where Dean really started to leave his mark.
All right.
This is a big one.
MapReduce, I hear that term thrown around a lot.
Oh, yeah. It's famous.
But to be honest, I'm not entirely sure what it means or why it's such a big deal.
Okay, so imagine trying to count every grain of sand on a beach.
Okay, that sounds tedious.
Right. Doing it one by one would take forever.
Yeah, probably longer than I'd want to be at the beach.
Exactly. But what if you could have, like, thousands of people,
Okay.
each counting a small section of the beach simultaneously,
Okay.
and then you just add up all their results.
Okay, so like a massive...
It's divide and conquer.
Yeah, divide and conquer effort.
Exactly, and that's basically what MapReduce does for data. It lets you break down huge problems into smaller chunks, process them in parallel,
Okay.
and then combine the results.
So Google could suddenly handle way more data than before.
Way more, like orders of magnitude more.
And it wasn't just Google who benefited, right?
Not even close.
This idea spread.
It became a cornerstone of big data processing everywhere.
So he didn't just solve a problem for Google.
He kind of changed the whole game.
Whoa. Okay, that's impressive.
It really is.
But MapReduce wasn't his only big contribution. Right?
No, he was just getting started.
He was also involved in developing Bigtable.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so another kind of jargony term.
Yeah.
What is Bigtable and why should I care?
Okay, so picture Google as this gigantic library.
Okay, I can kind of visualize that.
Right, filled with books and articles and websites. Tons of information.
Yeah.
Bigtable is like the card catalog.
Okay, so it's about organization.
Exactly. It's a distributed storage system that can handle ridiculously huge data sets.
So where MapReduce is about processing data, Bigtable is about storing it in a way that makes sense.
You got it.
Okay, that's starting to click.
It's all about keeping things organized and accessible, even when you're dealing with mountains of data.
And this also had a big impact beyond Google, right?
Oh yeah, Bigtable paved the way for all those NoSQL databases we use today.
Which are basically everywhere now.
Pretty much every website and app you use relies on them in some way.
So Dean's work is literally shaping how we interact with the digital world.
On a fundamental level.
That's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it.
It really is, but here's the thing.
What?
He didn't stop there.
He didn't.
Oh no, after revolutionizing data processing and storage, he set his sights on something even bigger, AI itself.
Okay, now we're talking.
That's where Google Brain comes in.
All right, bring on the brain power.
Let's do it. So Google Brain, it was this really ambitious project.
I bet.
Dean wanted to push the boundaries of AI research.
Okay, but what did that look like in practice? Like, what were they actually trying to do?
The big idea was to bridge this gap between like theoretical AI research and real-world applications.
So taking those brainy algorithms and actually making them useful.
Exactly, making them work on a massive scale.
Dealing with all that messy real-world data.
Right, because it's one thing to have a fancy algorithm, but it's another to make it work in the real world.
So did they succeed? Like, did Google Brain actually achieve anything?
Oh, they achieved a lot.
Really?
Yeah, they made huge strides in all sorts of areas.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Well, for one thing, they were instrumental in improving image recognition.
Okay.
Like, think about those KPTCAs we used to have to solve.
Oh, yeah. Click on all the pictures with street signs or whatever.
Exactly. Google Brain's work helped computers get so good at seeing...
That they could solve those KPTCHAs, too.
Yep, and that's why we don't really see those KPTCHAs anymore.
Wow, that's a great example.
It is, right? It shows how these advancements in AI actually impact our lives.
Yeah, it's one thing to talk about algorithms, but it's another to see how they change the way we interact with technology.
Absolutely.
Okay, so image recognition, that's one big win. What else?
Oh, they also made significant progress in natural language processing.
So like language translation.
Yeah, like Google Translate.
Which has gotten so much better.
Yeah.
I remember it used to be kind of...
a joke.
Yeah. But now it's actually pretty accurate.
And that's thanks in part to the work done at Google Brain.
Okay, so they're helping computers see and understand language better.
And that's just the beginning.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, yeah. One area I find particularly fascinating is deep reinforcement learning.
Okay, that sounds intense.
It is. It's where AI agents learn by interacting with their environment.
So like trial and error.
Exactly like how we learn as humans.
Interesting.
And Google Brain really pushed this field forward.
Any specific examples?
Well, one of the most famous is AlphaGo.
Oh, yeah. The AI that beat the world champion Go player.
That's the one.
I remember that was a huge deal.
It showed that AI could master incredibly complex games.
Okay, so Google Brain is making all these breakthroughs.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound like Dean wanted to keep them all to himself.
No, he's a big believer in open source.
So sharing the knowledge.
Exactly, and that's where TensorFlow comes in.
TensorFlow. Okay, another tech term.
Yeah, it's basically an open source machine learning framework.
Meaning what?
It means anyone can use it to build and deploy AI models.
So instead of hoarding these powerful tools, he decided to give them away.
Pretty much he wanted to democratize AI.
I like that.
Make it accessible to everyone, not just big tech companies.
So researchers, startups, students,
anyone who's interested,
could suddenly experiment with cutting-edge AI technology.
That was the idea.
And did it work? Did people actually use TensorFlow?
Oh yeah, big time.
Really?
It quickly became one of the most popular machine learning frameworks in the world.
Wow. So he created this whole ecosystem of AI development.
And it's still growing today.
That's incredible. But it sounds like his impact goes beyond just the technical achievements.
Oh, absolutely.
There's also this ethical dimension to his work, right?
Yes, he's been a huge advocate for responsible AI development.
So it's not just about building cool tech.
No, it's about considering the potential consequences.
And making sure AI is used for good.
Exactly.
What were some of the specific concerns he raised about AI?
Well, one of the big ones is bias.
Bias.
Yeah, AI systems learn from data,
Right.
And if that data reflects existing biases in society...
Then the AI will inherit those biases.
Exactly, and that can lead to all sorts of problems.
Like what?
Well, for example, an AI system used for hiring might discriminate against certain groups of people.
Oh, wow. That's a serious issue.
It is, and it's something Dean has been very vocal about.
So how do you fix that? How do you make sure AI doesn't just perpetuate existing inequalities?
Well, there's no easy answer.
I figured.
But one thing Dean has advocated for is diversity in the teams building AI systems.
So having people from different backgrounds.
With different perspectives.
And that makes sense. The more diverse the teams.
The more likely they are to catch those biases early on.
Before they get baked into the system.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Catching those biases early is crucial.
Absolutely. But bias isn't the only concern.
Oh, right. There's the whole impact on jobs then.
Exactly. As AI gets more sophisticated, it's going to automate more and more tasks.
Which means some jobs might disappear.
Potentially, yeah. It's a valid concern.
I feel like every time there's a new technology, people worry about jobs going away.
It's a natural reaction.
So has Dean addressed this? Like, how do we navigate this potential job disruption?
He has, actually, and he's surprisingly optimistic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he believes AI will ultimately create more jobs than it eliminates.
More jobs?
But there'll be different kinds of jobs.
Okay, so new opportunities, but we need new skills.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He emphasizes education and reskilling programs.
So we got to adapt to this changing landscape.
It's not about waiting for the future to happen.
It's about shaping it.
Preparing ourselves for the jobs of tomorrow.
I like that proactive approach. It's good to hear some optimism amidst all the AI anxiety.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the doom and gloom.
But at the end of the day, it seems like Dean is driven by a desire to use AI for good.
Absolutely. He's a problem solver at heart.
So what are some of the areas he's most excited about? Where does he see AI having the biggest positive impact?
Well, one area he's particularly passionate about is climate change.
Using AI to fight climate change.
Yeah, he believes AI can help us understand and mitigate the effects of climate change.
So like analyzing data to predict future trends.
Optimizing energy grids, developing new materials for carbon capture.
Wow, that's a big deal.
It is. Climate change is one of the biggest challenges we face.
And AI could be a powerful tool in tackling it.
Absolutely.
Are there any other areas he's highlighted?
Healthcare is another big one.
AI in healthcare, that sounds promising.
Yeah, he envisions AI helping doctors make more accurate diagnoses.
Okay.
Personalizing treatments, even accelerating drug discovery.
Wow. That's amazing to think about.
It is. The potential is huge.
But pretty incredible when you think about it.
Yeah.
It all started with that kid tinkering on his Apple II.
Fascinated by math and problem solving.
And now he's leading the charge in AI shaping the future of technology and maybe even the world.
It's a remarkable journey.
It really is big thanks to that AIVIPS.org essay for giving us so much insight into Jeff Dean's career.
It was a great read.
This has been a fascinating deep dive.
I agree, one of the best.
It's a reminder that AI isn't just about algorithms and code.
It's about people, ideas, and using technology to solve real-world problems.
And hopefully to make the world a better place.
That's the goal, right.
Absolutely. Well, that's all the time we have for today.
Time flies when you're talking AI.
Haha, it does. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and we'll see you next time for another exciting exploration into the world of AI.